19 celebs who don't breastfeed their kids. 1. Jessica Biel. Biel experienced issues, making it hard to breastfeed. She couldn't produce good amounts of milk. Her nanny assured her that formula feeding was just as good. 2. Adele. Adele spoke against pressuring mothers to breastfeed. Adele herself struggled to feed her son Angelo. She managed to do it, only for about 9 weeks. 3. Kim Kardashian. Kim's daughter Chicago was born via surrogate, so Kim was unable to breastfeed her. It gave Kim more time to spend with her other kids, so she eventually had a 4th child. 4. Jenna Kramer. Kramer couldn't produce enough milk. She felt ashamed of formula feeding her daughter, but she and her husband could take turns at night feeding. 5. Bethany Frankel. Breastfeeding was too time-consuming for Frankel. Her daughter Bryn was mostly formula-fed by 3 months old. Frankel felt like a failure for not breastfeeding exclusively. 6. Christina Applegate. Applegate was diagnosed with cancer in 2008. She underwent a double mastectomy. She wasn't physically able to breastfeed her daughter. 7. Angelina Jolie. Breastfeeding presented many issues for Jolie, so she chose to bottle feed her twins. At 3 months, she transitioned them to formula full-time. 8. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe had to stop breastfeeding her daughter True. She couldn't produce enough milk. Khloe hired a lactation specialist, but she still had to give True a bottle with every feeding. 9. Kelly Rowland. Rowland wanted to breastfeed her son, Titan, but she wasn't producing enough milk. Rowland began to supplement it with formula. Trying to breastfeed took a toll on her chest. She had to see a plastic surgeon as a result. 10. Jessica Alba. Alba felt like her son Hayes wanted to nurse 24/7. It was challenging, as she was trying to go back to work. Her milk supply was not enough for him. After 3 weeks, Alba started a combination feed. 11. Coco Rocha. Rocha received a lot of criticism for not breastfeeding. She'd had formula delivered to her while on vacation. Rocha confronted her critics. She revealed she could no longer breastfeed. 12. Juliana Rancic. Rancic used a surrogate to have her son Duke, so breastfeeding wasn't an option for her. 13. Emily Maynard. Maynard breastfed all her 4 kids, but she had to transition her youngest son to formula. She was so ashamed of her decision, she tried to hide it. 14. Jamie Lynn Sigler. Sigler was forced to stop breastfeeding her son. This way she could take her medication. Her son struggled to eat the formula at first. Sigler had to deal with the guilt that came along with it. 15. Elisa Donovan. Donovan was prepared to breastfeed as long as possible. However, breastfeeding turned out to be painful for her. 16. Jennifer Lopez. Lopez chose not to breastfeed her twins. She explained that mom didn't breastfeed either, and it worked for her just fine. 17. Molly Sims. Sims's first child, son Brooks, was born with a tooth. It made breastfeeding difficult for her. After 3 months, she switched to formula. 18. Beyoncé. Beyoncé breastfed her daughter for 10 weeks. Then she ultimately switched to formula. 19. Whitney Port. Port experienced pain trying to feed her son. At 5 months, she introduced formula into his diet. Port said it was the best decision for her.